Do you believe in God? I never know quite how to respond to that one. Yes or no is too easy, as the idea of God, to me at least, is too simple. Recently my answer has been, I believe in questions. I believe in mystery. I believe in wonder. I believe in doubt. The word quest is at the heart of the word question, and, if I can risk the cliche, a life lived well is a kind of quest, but one that never really arrives at a destination. At least it shouldn't. I'm skeptical of certainty in religion and spirituality, hence the idea of belief. Religions don't claim to deal with facts the way science does. But often, and increasingly so these days, they do. Religions grow to give their dogmas the status of fact, and their tradition seems to fossilize into an assumed truth. I think this results from two main factors. First, in order to make and maintain a broad-reaching organization, a religion needs to harden like concrete around its tenets and writings in order to unify its people. Second, some of these people choose to accept these creeds, these proposed answers to the mysteries of the universe, in what we might call blind faith, without exploring and evaluating them for themselves. If we are not aware of what we believe, why we believe it, and what the effects of that belief are on our lives, if we are not conscious, then we fall into spiritual complacency, sleep, and even a sort of death. So it is possible to be religious but not spiritual if we use those terms in the way that those do, who say they are, quote, spiritual but not religious. It is possible to follow the commandments of a religion, to say the proper prayers and to sing the songs, but without the meaning and wonder and awe and love that the religion should seek to inspire. To be spiritual, then, means to dwell in and on these inspiring things. I believe religion should lead believers to what lies beyond their creeds and rituals, to what their dogma cannot express because it cannot be known at all, but only experienced through awe and wonder and rapture. The spiritual and not religious sect, of which I tend to count myself a member, tries to cut out the rogue middleman and leaves the church to go gaze at a sunset. There are critiques of this, which I'll get to. For now, I'm interested in those who follow religion the way someone might have a season pass to the Jets games, because he likes tailgating, he likes the $15 fried chicken, and he likes all the hollering that goes on. But he doesn't really know why that group of muscular men are trying to get an oddly shaped ball, sometimes called a pigskin, from one side of the field to another, and he doesn't really care to find out. You might also use this metaphor to describe the spiritual, not religious people, and you wouldn't be wrong. I won't speculate now on why blind faith happens. I will say that for religious among us, this is not a criticism, but a healthy challenge. We must critically evaluate our beliefs on the principle that an unexamined faith is not a strong faith. For the proud atheists among us, this is not a congratulations. Our rejection of religion, what we might consider the opiate of the masses, could be itself an unevaluated dogma that we picked up from somewhere. Atheism could itself be considered a religion, in that it is an organized system of belief that worships, in this case, human reason. But atheists or not, we must exercise that reason. Just as religious or not, we must exercise our wonder. Reason and wonder at its limits. We must cultivate what we call an open and a critical mind. We must challenge and criticize and doubt our own opinions and beliefs, and we must work to understand those of others. They probably have something to teach us. We must not accept truth blindly, be it that God exists or that he doesn't, or that YOLO is a valid philosophy of life. We must question. But we must do all this, but we all do this in conscious acceptance in some way. If not with spirituality, then with other aspects of our culture. Here are two such myths that we are told, and because they seem to sound reasonable, maybe because everyone else is saying them, we accept them. 1. You need a six-pack to be attractive. Says who? Abercrombie & Fitch, Hollywood, Men's Health Magazine, people selling protein powder? Sure, we want to look good, but to what extent and at what cost? Who are we letting define what good looks like? Why? And should we spend our time with people who value the size of our biceps more than the capacity of our compassion or our character? Don't get me wrong. Taking care of our bodies is important, but we shouldn't make the gym our new church, the latest diet our new religion, and the guy who cooked it up our new prophet, all while idolizing the beach body and yearning for the favor of an attractive person. I have been there myself, and those prayers were not answered. 2. You are successful if you make a lot of money. Money is great. Money lets you buy gifts for your friends, take care of your family, help others in need, buy a cup of coffee, and then get the computer you spilled it on fixed. I did that the other week. But I'm not sure we should determine our success in life only by the size of our bank accounts. What about how we treat our friends, or strangers, or ourselves? What about how we inspire others or improve their lives? What about the joy that we spread? These should also define a, quote, successful life. But our culture ignores them. You don't see a Forbes 500 list for people with great integrity or compassion or joy. Imagine the headline, mailman pauses to drink tea with grieving widow, breaks on to list the world's kindest people, right below schoolteacher who buys poor student pens and pencils. It sounds silly to us, but why does it sound silly? We need to ask these questions. The richness and the happiness of our lives depend on it. We need to evaluate what we are told. Many or all of our beliefs and values we inherit from our culture. We can accept some of them, but only after we have understood them. And to understand them, we need to question them. We need to doubt. There's a strong resistance in many strands of Christianity against doubt. You might know the story in John's Gospel about doubting Thomas. Doubt is portrayed as a lack of faith, as a failing, and even as a sin. But why? Some say doubt is a fear or distrust of God. Cynics say the church does not want people questioning its authority. Both might be true in certain cases. But I think doubt is also proof of a true faith, if that faith uses that doubt to sift for the truth. And ye shall know the truth, John also writes, and the truth shall make you free. Perhaps, but it is doubt which first liberates us from our own delusions, and which leads us on the quest of questions towards truth. What is truth? We'll table that question for now. All this is what today's reading means to me. Jesus says to the dead man, "Young man, I say to you, get up." I don't really care if a man was clinically dead. I'm interested in how he might have been spiritually dead, because he had ceased to wonder, ceased to question, ceased to live, and not just exist. So get up. Don't sleepwalk through life, taking for granted other people's truths. Start asking questions. Challenge, doubt, wonder, question again. There are mysteries enough in a seashell to occupy a lifetime. There are enough answers there too, if you know the right questions. I began today with my doubts about spiritual certainty and religious facts. I challenged the blind faith of some religious followers. I challenged atheists who don't realize they do the same kind of following. I showed our collective vulnerability to cultural myths as an example of how susceptible we are to such ideas, and how direly we need to use our doubt to preserve ourselves and to navigate ourselves towards an examined, deliberate, and fulfilled life. That should be the goal of all this questioning. That must be the way that truth will make us free. Now I need to challenge myself. I must challenge my ideas. Do you see? The way we identify ourselves with what we believe is precisely my point. You are not what you believe. That is the first lesson of education, of becoming a critical thinker. That must happen before any constructive discussion can be held. We are too attached today to our opinions, and we see a critique of what we think as an attack against who we are. It isn't. Done correctly, it is an act of love. Ideally, the other person is trying to liberate us from what she sees as false ideas causing us harm. We need to understand this, and we need to court that criticism. Then we need to offer our own critique in a loving and thoughtful way. Debate is not proving that I'm right and that you're wrong, but arriving together at something closer to truth. The truth is likely somewhere in between, if not somewhere else entirely. And we need to debate with ourselves. We need a readiness to challenge and to change our own minds. So let me. You could say I'm making a religion out of doubt. I probably am. There are dangerous problems here. Problem one, I'm transferring authority away from tradition and experts and into the individual. This might make someone refuse to listen to people who know more than he does, which is to say, you should all just agree about me with all this. So the arrogance to question someone's authority and claim to truth must be countered with the humility to doubt your own. The liberal Protestant preacher Lillian Daniel said that the spiritual but not religious mindset was, quote, right smack in the bland majority of people who find ancient religions dull but find themselves uniquely fascinating. This self-centered individualism distracts us from attending to the larger problems of the world, while religions at their best urge believers towards service. That's problem two. Problem three, if you believe in not really believing in anything, what do you believe in? My answer is that doubt is not disbelief. Doubt something the way you see if a stone is good for skipping. Hold it and turn it in your palm, test its weight, feel its smoothness, its flatness, then whip the thing across the pond and count the skips. We must step away from the world to question it, yes, but then we must return again to make ourselves lunch. I believe in that departure only if the return follows it. And I believe in an intimate, free conversation over wine and cheese with a close friend. I believe in the beauty of the view outside this window. I believe in this crazy, painful, wonderful tumble of growing and loving and grieving that we call life. I believe in helping others get up, just as I believe in allowing others to help me get up. I believe truth is not sibling to fact. I believe we must leave room for doubt because that is where wonder resides. And I believe in the stars. I believe that to gaze into their infinite distances, to know that those bright dots are smoldering balls of hydrogen whose light has traveled millions of miles to reach me and my speechless and fragile body, which has forgotten that bit of scientific trivia as it wonders at the sheer infinity and compassion of all things it cannot possibly know. All this is to glimpse something of what we, for lack of a better word, try to call God. Thank you.